Welcome back, Blade fans. OG Blades here with you once again, and I'm putting that logo up in front of you to remind you that I am no longer this old sword. Well, maybe I am in some ways. I am OG Blade, or known as OG Blade Reviews. We've got something new for you today. Yes, another one of these Pelican-style cases. Looks like a mini rifle case. We're going to open it up, show you something interesting inside, and very quickly give you something to freeze frame here from the folks at North Mountain Blade. A big thank you. And this is a little about the knife. I'm going to give you those two things, plus I will give you the links anyway in the description. But this is made from SLD-Magic steel, once again. And I did have a Maxace recently, the big Vortex that was made from the same steel. Let's put the case aside and see what we've got here. Pretty clean looking button lock knife with a G10, black G10 handles. By the way, I have to thank K. Nathan Knives for giving me the tip on this one. He's picked up at least one or two from this company. There's your button lock. And here's a question for you. There's that beautiful, they're spelling it San Mai. I've always known it as San Mai. San as in Ichi-ni-san or san, Ichi-ni-san, 3 in the Japanese language, 3 layers. So 2 surface skins and the inner layer. And they are saying that that inner layer is about 60 Rockwell, which is pretty decent. It is a carbon style steel as far as I know on that inner layer, which means yes, it could be prone to rusting. Don't take my word entirely for that. If you want to do a little research, you can. And my question for you is this: could this be the safest button lock made so far, at least the ones that I have? And I'm going to show you a couple for compare. What do I mean by safest? Are you going to smash it with a 1,000-pound hammer, back whack, whack, whack? You're going to, hang 600 pounds from it? No. Sorry to rant a little there. I get a little sick of the so-called torture tests. If you plan on torturing a 3.5-inch knife in your daily use, then maybe you need to do that. But here's what I'm talking about. This button lock, in order to close it, I'm pressing it fully with my thumb, as you might normally close a button lock. No deal. I'm going to push a little harder. Still no close. I'm going to get the tip of my thumb and push it all the way in, and now it closes. And it also has a little bit of a more decent detent than many button locks. You can fail it for sure, but you really need to dig your thumb in there. And most people's reservations about button locks is that you can accidentally push on that button while you're using it and have it close on your hand. Well, first of all, you've got enough of a flipper tab acting as a guard here so that your index finger is there at all times. And even if this were to get pressed all the way in, you've got your finger there to stop it from closing. So I think it is the safest, if not one of the safest button locks out there. Don't know if we can get a close-up of the inner workings here, but it is set up as a more or less typical button lock with that plunge lock there, but it's engaging at least 50%, and that's unusual when you see a lot of the Civivis and so forth not doing that. By the way, yeah, you can see the holes in there for the weight relieving on the hidden hidden frame or hidden scales, no, hidden frame, sorry. And what appears to be a brass backspacer, pretty much near the pommel, could call it a pommel spacer. A very thick pocket clip, and that pocket clip can be removed. And what they gave us here is a blank to put in there. So presumably if you wanted to carry it in a slip or drop it in your pocket and you didn't want the clip, you could do that. But let's take a look at this again. So when you push in, it's pretty deep. It's still not closing. A little bit more, still not closing. Push as hard as I can. Get the tip of my thumb in there and it disengages. So I really think this is not going to close if you don't want it to close. And once you get used to it, you just dig your thumb in there and it's still fairly fidgety. You just need to nail it pretty good in order to get it to close. Well, why don't we get into some measurements? Overall length, 8 inches, right to the tip of that pommel. And blade length is actually like a 3/6, I would say. About a 3/6, 3/6.5 maybe. Cutting edge, 3.5. So if they've said it's a 3.5 inch blade, it's likely because that's the cutting edge. Calipers set for millimeters, so let's start right here. Blade stock 3.4 millimeters. Fairly hefty for a 3.5 inch-ish blade. 0.13. And the handle 0.52. Not bad. Not bad. A little thicker than your slimmest knives, for sure, but fat and a pocket anchor or anything like that? No, but we'll find out. It's going to be a little on the heavier side than you would imagine. Ooh. That's because, once again, I slipped into carat territory here. I guess I need to do this. You can see I'm real familiar with moving around this scale. Ounces. Okay. Since I zeroed it, yeah, I got to do this again. Okay. There's your zero. There's your ounces. Sorry, folks. That's a dumb move. No, it's not 600 whatever ounces. It's 4.38. I'm going to call it 4.4 ounces. How about that? 4.4 ounces. Really not too bad, considering I'm pretty certain that this jimped backspacer is brass, which means you're going to get a little bit of patina on there. It already is kind of a stonewash on there. Again, the action, really not bad. If you just follow through, it's not bad. Most button locks you can fail, but let's see. Yeah, so you can fail it if you give it just a little bit of push. See? But follow through and it's fine. What it means is you got a little more detent than you would usually see. And I've got close to 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch left over. So it's not a small knife. And we've got some decent jimping here, a file-like sort of jimping that does grip my thumb. And yet I can lay my thumb all the way on it if you want that push cut type positioning. Nicely ground compound Tanto here with a kind of a traditional swedge in there. Nicely done blade. And that hamon that you see, I think they sort of put that on afterwards. I'm not sure. Well, no, they could have ground it that way. I'm not sure quite how they do that. Maybe that's in that little sheet that I didn't fully read. But it does give you the differentiation between the inner core and the outer skins, that 60 HRC inner core. Now, I was talking about other button locks. Here is the Mad Flipper, made by Kaiser, designed by none other than Damned Designs. And look at the difference and how easily that one closes. Will this be a more fidgety knife? Absolutely. But is it going to close when you don't want it to? Quite possibly. It just fell right there, almost on my finger. So that's one compare. Another compare here is this Vosteed knife. I can come up with it here. And I got to get you the name of the Vosteed, son of a gun. Hang on. It is the Thornton. And that's from Wayne at Wayne's Sharp World. He was the designer. Beautiful EDC knife. Now, let's check this one out. This has probably what they call the Trek lock by Vosteed. It's a patented lock wherein you notice you can't see the mechanism there because the plunge lock goes right through a hole in the blade rather than the top of the blade. But that's still pretty good. But it takes a little less force than the Chop 2. And if I didn't say it, I think I didn't say it. That's the Chop 2 by North Mountain Blade. Let's put these guys over on the side and look at one final button lock. And I really do like this button lock by Civivi. And that is the Sentinel Strike. I'm going to have to pause for just about every knife name lately. Notice how this is kind of the reverse of this one. I guess you could say it's a reverse Tanto. It's kind of a Wharncliffe in my book with a very nicely done edge that rises up. I think the guy who started that whole concept of that particular shape of Wharncliffe has got to be Dirk Pinkerton. And I got to give him credit for that. But let's check the button on this one. And not bad, Civivi. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close to what we're getting on the Chop 2 there. I still need to dig my finger in. So very close. Maybe the closest one so far, kind of a tie for how easy it is able to release the mechanism. About the same as the Thornton. But this guy, just crazy. Really. It is on bearings, does appear to be on bearings. It drops very smoothly. And I just think it's a terrific deal for, oh, by the way, 80 bucks. 80 bucks for the Chop 2. And the steel, they got to be spending a fair amount on that steel because it is that SLD-Magic. I don't know who came up with that name, but it is a Japanese steel. The knife, I believe, is made in China. What knives aren't these days? You can wrestle with that and make your own determination about whether you like that or not. There's the logo for North Mountain Blade. And there is a chop, by the way, doesn't necessarily just refer to this, but a chop is also a stamp that is used next to your signature or in place of your signature in both Chinese and Japanese cultures and possibly more Asian cultures. Look at that beautiful hamon. Hamon is the traditional temper mark that is put on handmade katanas and other Japanese tantos and other Japanese style blades. But a really nice, simply designed but elegant Tanto blade by North Mountain Blade. And I will leave you links so you can read up a little bit more about this particular steel in manufacturing. They do have a number of knives out there, and I think they're looking for OEMs for some design concepts that they have as well. Much as I know, but thank you to K. Nathan Knives. That is Nathan Contra. Excellent knife modder and also a knife collector. And thanks for letting us know about this one. Appreciate it. Don't forget to give this vid a like and subscribe. I will be back with you soon. OG Blades here. Take care.